Fine. So let us start with polynomials. So we can focus mainly on polynomials. Then how can we sketch the polynomials? Okay, just so these I'll just explain these two basic things. So let us see how it is going on. Okay, polynomials. So before proceeding with polynomials, are you aware of linear functions and quadratic functions?
Yes.
Yeah, because just I wanted to know what is your understanding on that as well. So when I come to linear functions, so how will you explain a linear function, or what is the formula for the linear function? What will be the equation for the linear function? Not formula, equation for the linear function. How will you write
Y
it?
is
Mm.
y
Come
is
on.
equal to x.
Yeah, that is one example. That is exactly correct. So can you generalize it? How can generally how can I write a linear function?
Like
It is not.
how
Come on.
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not quite sure.
Yeah, what you said is correct. So this is an example, basically, an example for a linear function. So what I meant is the general form of a linear function is like this. Y is equal to ax plus b. This is what I meant. Where, what is the highest power of x here? What is the
1.
highest power of x? 1. So that is why it is known as linear, because when I sketch the graph of a linear function, I will get what? A straight line as my answer. So the graph of a linear function is always what? A straight line. You get my point?
Yeah.
And the equation is of the form y is equal to ax plus b. And remember, the highest power of x in a linear function is always 1. Clear?
Yeah.
Now coming to quadratic. Can you tell me how will you write a quadratic function?
Y equals ax squared.
Exactly. Ax squared, general, that is a general formula. So ax squared plus bx
Plus.
c. Yeah.
Yep.
The one you said is an example. Okay, that is an example. Definitely what you said is correct. That is an example, but not the general form. Here I am writing the general form, and here one more thing, a cannot be equal to 0. That is mandatory. So here what is happening? Here what is the highest power of x?
2.
Yeah, here the highest power is 2, right? Here we have one more power, which is 1. So comparing all the powers over there, you can see that the highest power of x is 2. That is why it is called as quadratic. Quadra meaning something related to 2. Okay, so here the power is 2, or the highest exponent is 2, or the index is 2. That is why I said the highest power of the quadratic function will be 2, and this is the general form.
Yeah.
Here, so when I graph a quadratic function, you can see that the graph is like a parabola, like this. It can open up or open down.
Yeah.
Here. So these are the two standard functions, okay? One is a linear function. The general form of a linear function is what? Y is equal to ax plus b.
Ax plus b.
Because the highest power of x is 1. Then when I graph it, I know that it is going to be a straight line. Similarly, for the second one, which is quadratic, the equation is of the form y is equal to ax square plus bx plus c. And one point is important, that a cannot be equal to 0.
Yeah.
And when you graph it, what is the name of the graph? That is known as a parabola.
Parabola.
Yeah, clear. The parabola can open up, or the parabola can open down as well. Okay, this is the parabola in which it is opening down, and this is the parabola which is opening up.
Yep.
Clear or not?
Yeah, clear.
Okay, so now we will be proceeding with the important scenarios where we are going to sketch different polynomials. It can be a line, it can be a parabola, or it can be something else. Maybe, for example, if I write another equation, y is equal to ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d. And here also a cannot be 0. Okay, a is not equal to 0. So can you tell me what is the highest power of this polynomial?
The 3.
3. And this polynomial is known as a cubic polynomial. Yes, very good. Cubic polynomial. Now we have one more, which is y is equal to, if the power is 4, like this, ax4, bx cube, the power decreases automatically, cx square plus dx plus e. Here also a cannot be 0. So in this case, you know the name which can be given for this polynomial?
Quartic.
Very good. It is known as a quartic polynomial, and there is another name which is biquadratic. There are two names, but quartic is a common one. But in some areas or some countries, the name biquadratic can also be used. So both of them represent the same thing. The one with power 4, the highest power. The highest power is 4. And remember, the coefficient cannot be 0. Because if it is 0, ultimately it will become a cubic equation.
Yeah.
Is that correct? So
Yep.
these are the 4 main cases you have to study. Linear and quadratic are common ones, are common examples, but now we have to extend our understanding to what? Cubic and sometimes to quartic also.
Yep.
Is that clear or not? Any
Yep,
doubts?
clear.
Okay. So you must know the general form of the 4 kinds. Basically, the 4 are very, very important. Maybe you can expect 5th one also, but the chances are less. Okay, for a 5th degree polynomial, the chances are less. But for 4th degree polynomial, 3rd degree cubic polynomial, and the quadratic and the linear polynomial, otherwise known as the linear function, cubic function, quadratic function, quartic function, all of them are very, very important.
Yep.
You can note this one down. Just simply, no need to write it in detail because I'll be explaining, one by one. Especially, I'll be focusing on quadratic because for linear, you know that it is a straight line. So maybe 1 or 2 examples from straight line we can do, but my entire focus will be on quadratic and cubic today. Okay. You can note them down.
Yep.
Is it too fast, Angelina? Or are you able to follow?
I'm able to follow.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, done, right?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Now, as I said, 1 or 2 from straight lines we can do. So, okay. So suppose if I have y is equal to 2x plus 3. So we have different scenarios. One is I have to find the x-intercept. Second one, and I have to find the y-intercept. And finally, I have to sketch the graph. This is linear, right?
Yes.
So can you tell me, to find the x-intercept, what shall I do here?
Make y equal 0?
Very good. So I have to put y is equal to 0. So technically what happens? 2x plus 3 is equal to 0. So 2x is equal to -3. So which means x is equal to -3/2. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
what is the x-intercept? I would say that is -3/2, 0.
Yeah.
So that is ready. Now to get y-intercept, what shall I do?
Make x 0?
Yes, x is equal to 0, right? So when I put x is equal to 0, what is my y value? 2 times 0 plus 3, which is equal